Hey guys, welcome to another wonderful edition, a quick edition of hopefully Patio Productions, where today we're going to talk about just the things that you need to know going into your test that you're coming up on this Friday. We're taking our test. So there was just some information that the Precalc team of teachers felt like it would be good for you to know about the structure and the topics and all that good stuff. So you may have noticed some like fun little things different in our backyard lately. Patio Productions. Did you notice that we had some gardening done and all of our bamboo is left? And then today it looks a little messy, but it's actually kind of fun. We have a little obstacle course going on in our backyard. Isn't that fun? Yeah. I don't know. It was cool. It was a middle school PE obstacle course day, so we rose to the challenge. Anyway, let's get started, right? Okay, we are going to be talking about just a really quick PowerPoint on the topics and such that are going to be on our test. And so in typical fashion, we'll give you an outline of what is happening, as well as, just other pieces of like the logistics of what's going to happen on the day. I know it's so exciting. We're putting this out. I'm very excited. So today, this is PowerPoint is for Wednesday, the 22nd. Here's just like the details about how the test is going to work. Okay. So the test is going to be issued on Friday, April 24th, and we're going to issue it at 1 p.m. Okay, so 1 p.m. in the afternoon. That will be after our office hours morning time. That will be after any lunchtime. And hopefully this time is going to work for you. You are then going to have 2 hours to work on that test. Okay, and it's going to be due by 3 o'clock p.m. Yes, so you actually have an entire 2 hours. Now, do I really think it's going to take you 2 hours to do this test? No, I do not. It shouldn't. So there's a little bit of leeway time with that, but I do give you the 2 hours just in case there's a little technical glitch or you're having a hard time getting started or whatever the case may be. There is definitely like that 2 hour window. So if you happen to turn in your test after that 3 o'clock time deadline, I'm going to have to start deducting some points because you weren't able to get it in on time. So most of the time for us, we have very generous deadlines, but because it's a test, we have to kind of like lock it down a little bit. So 3 o'clock is your deadline. I'll send some reminders through Remind just to help you guys remember. And then, of course, we'll be issuing it through Google Classroom. Okay. Because you don't know how long it's going to take, I would suggest you getting started kind of right away and not like, procrastinating or anything. Like, we definitely don't want that. I mean, what would be worse? The worst thing ever is that you started it at like 2:30 and then you didn't quite happen to finish. That would be the saddest thing ever. Okay, so we definitely don't want that. The test is going to be multiple choice. It's going to be through a Google form. Most of the questions are going to have one answer, but some of the questions are choose all that apply. So you may have to be choosing 2 answers or 3 answers or something of that nature, right? I know we make him some cool, fancy questions. So just really think about that as you are answering the questions, okay? Because this is at home, guys, we're just going to say it right out here out front. You can use your book and your notes. So I feel like because you do have those as a resource, I feel like it might take a little bit longer because you might be shuffling through things. So that's another reason why I think that you should kind of get started right away at that 1 o'clock time. Just like some advice from me to you, like, I know, just I feel like it's a good suggestion. You should be taking this test by yourself. Guys, it's a test, okay? So I'm expecting that you are taking this test by yourself and that you are presenting your own best efforts, okay? So I just really wanted to make that clear right there. Let's put it in writing. You should be taking this test by yourself. You're going to need a scientific calculator, but you won't need a graphing calculator, so that's nice. Yeah, got to love our scientific calculator. And so what are the test topics? Just like usual, guys, feel free to pause this at any time if I'm going too fast, or you may just go through and be like, yes, all these things seem very familiar. So I'm going to ask you to be finding terms of a sequence. That sequence could be defined explicitly or recursively, and then you have to, interpret the sequence appropriately. I'm going to ask you to write an explicit formula. And when I say write, I mean choose the right answer because it's multiple choice, right? Like, duh. Okay. And so we're going to be writing explicit formulas. We're going to be given a sequence writing a recursive formula. Remember, for a recursive formula, it kind of like has 3 parts. The first term, what you do to the previous term, and then there's always like that comma for n greater than 1. So kind of like remember all those parts to that. I'm going to ask you if the sequence is arithmetic, geometric, or neither. I always find these are very simple. You're just looking for the pattern and you're like jamming it up. I'm going to ask you, this is kind of like a couple of questions in here to find arithmetic means, where you like put the numbers on the edges and you fill in the numbers in between. Geometric means. Then I'm also going to ask you to find the mean proportional. So make sure you know how to do all three of those versions of that type of question. I'm going to ask you to do a series in sigma notation, right? Where you put the sigma and then you write the rule and then you have like a K value where it starts and it goes to maybe a number or an infinity. I'm going to ask you to find partial sums as well as infinite sums, right? So maybe this is you have to write some things out, or maybe you're going to use a formula for an infinite sum if it's geometric or if it's arithmetic. We have some lovely formulas for that. I'm going to ask you to do some of the steps from a mathematical induction problem. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot have you type in an entire math induction problem. That would just kind of be a nightmare. So you may be feeling like super excited about that, but you're going to do, I'm going to ask you some of the steps for a math induction problem. Okay, some more topics coming up here. We're going to do the binomial expansion theorem. I love that guy. We're going to ask you to not only expand and simplify one, but also maybe just finding like a particular term. Okay, I'm going to ask you if a sequence converges or diverges. Some students find these more difficult than other problems just because there's not like one hard and fast rule to like abide by. You have to do different things. And so there's going to be like a breadth of these, okay, to choose from. I'm going to ask you if a geometric series converges or diverges. Remember when you do the geometric series, you're really looking at that R term. And if the absolute value of the R is less than 1, then by golly, that baby for sure converges. Okay, if it does converge, I'm going to ask you to what does it converge? And we know that we have a formula for that. The infinite sum for geometric is the first term, a sub 1 over 1 minus r, that common ratio. I'm going to ask you specifically about these things called power series. So what values of x does a power series converge for? Okay, I'm going to ask you to find a power series that will converge to a particular function. So I'm going to give you the function. You have to interpret that and basically write it in the sigma notation. I'm totally going to ask, of course, a word problem with series, okay? So look at those classic word problems that we were practicing in all of our review materials. You'll be good. And then there's the question about expressing a complex number in its new form. Okay, I believe, guys, that this is a 30-question test. I'm pretty sure it's 30, 30 questions or somewhere close around to that. And so you're just going to answer all those questions. It's going to be amazing. It could be 25. I think it's 30. Oh, Mrs. Fox doesn't even know. She can't remember. Anyway, it's close to around that time. Okay, but definitely finishable in that 2-hour time limit. Okay. For your homework, guys, on Wednesday, what we're going to do for homework. So Wednesday's homework assignment is to just go look back at the fast track from 13.1 to 13.4. There was not only the worksheet, but then there was like the video to correct it. I want you to choose 5 to 8 of those questions from that first fast track, just of your choice, that you're going to redo again, just as extra practice. So you're going to look back at that and you're going to say to yourself, oh, I had trouble with that question, so I should probably practice this, or this section was super horrible. I need to do these again. If you like totally sailed through the questions, don't practice those again. That would be silly. You're going to do the same thing for Thursday's homework assignment. You're going to choose 5 to 8 questions from the fast track 13.5 through 13.8. And you're just going to choose what you want, right? You're going to write those questions down, take a picture, and submit those each day for Wednesday and Thursday, okay? So just one quick concluding thought as we get back to my face before I say adieu, and that is that if that time slot of 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock is not going to work, meaning that you definitely have something else already committed and scheduled for that time, you need to reach out to me sooner rather than later, so that we can make arrangements, just the two of us. But I'm expecting, that is like a great time in the afternoon. You're already awake. You've had lunch, brunch, breakfast, whatever you guys are doing. I don't even know. You're going to have eaten, you're going to be ready to rock, and you should be golden. Okay. So, yeah, that's our stuff. Okay. So, you got your Wednesday assignment, your Thursday assignment. Of course, I'll be pushing those out on Google Classroom also, for which you can put your picture in and respond to get credit for that. And so this week we are only going to have the 4 assignments. So we had on Monday, we had take the quiz. Tuesday was check your quiz and fill out the Google form. That's how you're getting credit for Tuesday. And then Wednesday and Thursday are going to be some redo of the fast track questions. I think that's it, guys. All right. I hope you feel informed. I hope I didn't miss anything. I hope I anticipated all your questions. If you still have questions, pop in, ask me in office hours, send me a text on Remind, do all the things. All right, guys. That's it. Have a good one. Bye.